Shabbat Shalom. We have quite a bit to celebrate this evening. I described this service in the weekly announcement as a triple header, but it's actually a quadruple header because this is, number one, Shabbat Shirah, the Sabbath of Song. It takes its name from the Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea, in this week's Torah portion. We actually get to celebrate the moment of liberation of our ancestors from slavery to freedom twice on this Shabbat and then again at our Pesach Seder as well. So in honor of Shabbat Shirah, Sabbath of Song, we have quite a musical service planned for this evening. I want to especially welcome Victor and Gabriel. They are brothers. They are from the Jewish community of Venezuela but live here now. As a matter of fact, Victor is the facilities manager at the JCC in Tenafly and have been here once before, so we welcome you back to enhance the music with our Cantor. Number two, this is Shabbat Lifnei Tu B'Shvat. This is the Sabbath before Tu B'Shvat. And so at the end of the service, we'll recognize the new year of trees and the land of Israel. And tomorrow morning, we have a Seder Tu B'Shvat as part of our Shabbat study. Number three, this is Shabbat Tzedek. This is our Sabbath of Justice, where we recognize the accomplishments of our Social Action Committee. And Shabbat Sherut, Sabbath of Service. This is also Volunteer Shabbat. We had the beautiful Shabbat dinner honoring our volunteers. And in one way or another, so many people volunteer to keep our synagogue going, like any synagogue as well. So all these are the four things that we're celebrating this evening. We're going to begin our service with a verse from Shirat Hayam, from the Song of the Sea. It's all the way in the back, on page 343, at the bottom, Ozi v'zimrat Yah, Adonai is my strength and might.
Simrat Yah,
that beautiful introduction, we now proceed to the blessing of the Shabbat candles. Two of the most important committees in our synagogue are the Ritual Committee and the Education Committee. And we'd like to ask the co-chairs of both committees, Emily and Kim and Doris, and all the way from Portland, tuning in on the live stream, Virginia, who is the co-chair, to come forward now as we turn to page 3. Lead us in the English first on page 3 at the top.
As these candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who kindle light, so may we in our own day be those who kindle light.
Together, O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need.
All who bring offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lechad likneh shel Shabbat.
For our call to worship, the Baruch Hu, page 28, please rise.
La 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 la. No.
La, la, la.
Sorry. We're working out our chords. So. Yeah. Yeah la la la. Okay, I think I'll just play it. Yeah la 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 la. 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 Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la.
Please be seated. Do you know that each day since the beginning of winter, we are gaining 2 minutes of light each day? The days are longer, close to an hour longer. May the light only increase. We give thanks for the light by reading on page 31. Let's read it together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Riv Aravim. On the next page, Ahavat Olam. Back when I was in high school and involved with Nifty, a composer set a new setting to Ahavat Olam in Hebrew, English, and because he was French, in French as well. And it's a beautiful melody, and hadn't heard it for so many years. And the Cantor said, I have a new melody. I said, oh, it's not so new. I remember it from a couple of decades ago. And I'd like to invite Lance to add vocal accompaniment to Ahavat Olam on page 32. Lance was in high school in Nifty the same time as me.
You're a year younger.
Ahavat olam, beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta. Ahavat olam, beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta. All the world sings to you, the world sings to you, all the world sings to you. The world sings to you, all the world sings to you. The world sings to you, all the world sings to you. The world sings to you. The song of the trees when wind stirs their leaves.
The song of the earth when rain soothes its thirst.
The song of the sea when the waves are set free.
The song of the sky when hummingbirds fly. Tout le monde chante-toi, le monde chante-toi, tout le monde chante-toi, le monde chante-toi, tout le monde chante-toi, le monde chante-toi, tout le monde chante-toi, le monde chante-toi.
All the world sings to you, the world sings to you, all the world sings to you, the world sings to you, all the world sings to you, the world sings to you, all the world sings to you, the world sings to you. The song of the trees when the wind stirs their leaves.
The song of the earth when rain soothes its thirst.
The song of the sea when the waves are set free.
The song of the sky when hummingbirds fly.
All the world sings. All the world sings. All the world sings. All the world sings to you.
Lance is a past president of this synagogue. He maintains our website. He writes our Purim spiels, and now he's a vocalist as well. We join together now in proclaiming our affirmation of faith, the Shema and the V'ahavta, page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We just chanted the V'ahavta in a Torah trope because it comes from the Torah, from the book of Deuteronomy, and Michamocha certainly comes from the Torah and from the Song of the Sea. And when I was living in Israel and leading a congregation in Haifa, we had a number of young people serving kind of as student cantors. One of them was from Europe, and her Torah trope was Ashkenazi. We had a second cantor from originally from Spain, from the Sephardic tradition, and he had a completely different Torah trope. But it's not just Ashkenazi, Ashkenazi and Sephardic. We had a third person from Iraq, and he had a Torah trope that was completely different than any others. And once I went to a Yemenite synagogue, and they had a completely different trope as well. So these are very old melodies. The Torah tropes are thought to predate the Gregorian chants of the Middle Ages, but each community developed their variation on how to chant the Torah. As we sing now the Michamocha, it's going to be based on, I think, one of the Sephardic or Mizrahi Torah chants. I don't think we've heard it before. We're doing it special for this evening. It's very plain, but very beautiful.
And I should mention that Cantor Joe, had sent me two particular melodies, and we're blending those two. So thank you, Joe. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh Norat ilot osef elech Malechutecha ra'u anecha Boker yom lifnei Moshe uMiriam Zeli anu ve'ameru Adonai meloch le'olam va'ed Adonai meloch le'olam va'ed V'ne'emar kivat Adonai et Yaakov וגלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Hashkivenu on page 42. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our sovereign, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Together, defend us against enemies, illness, distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and peace evermore. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom, aleinu yal kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 44, the people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time.
Berit olam, beini uvein bnei Yisrael, oti leolam, veshamnu bnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. For the Tefillah Amidah prayer, page 46, we rise.
Adonai, שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, שפתי
Please be seated. On page 59, God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulacha na'eh lehodot. A little extra music for Shabbat Shirah. Our prayer of peace, Shalom Rav, page 60.
Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasih Leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasih Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasih Leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasih Leolam. L'tov be'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael, bechol עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasih Leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasih Leolam. Tasih Leolam. Tasih
Now, at the end of the Amidah, our thoughts turn to those of our loved ones and all others in need of healing. Be this the healing of body and the healing of soul. Ever since October 7th, we think first of the hostages. When we think of healing, we think of those still in captivity and those who have been released and the long road of recovery. We pray that tomorrow we'll see 3 more hostages released, as is supposed to be the case, but we continue to keep them in our prayers until everyone has come home. And we think about those of our own loved ones in need of healing as we join in the healing prayer. Mishaberach.
Source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach, renewal of body, for renewal of spirit, and let us say,
In a moment, we'll be singing a song special for this Shabbat, Miriam's song. And I'd like you to see the words which are in the back on page 342. The chorus of the song is, "And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long." The Torah portion specifically mentions that as the Israelites reached the final shore, the other shore, it was Miriam, Moses' sister, that got everybody up and singing and dancing and celebrating. So that's why the Song of the Sea is really the song of Moses and Miriam together. So we pause now, as is customary after this section of prayer, and think about that moment of liberation, but think about moments when a very heavy weight may have been lifted from our shoulders as well, and we're able to see the joy in that moment of liberation. We pause.
Was one which sang our history. With every thread and every strand she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances toward the light. And the women dancing with the timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance and dance the whole night long. When Miriam stood upon the shores and gazed across the sea, the wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass to freedom and march to the promised land. And the women dancing with the timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance, they dance the whole night long. Miriam the prophet took the timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice with song, she sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle, we're gonna dance tonight. And the women dancing with the timbrel followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance, they dance the whole night long. And the women dancing with the timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance, they dance the whole night long. Miriam and the women dance, they dance the whole night long. Miriam and the women dance, they dance the whole night long.
In honor of Volunteer Shabbat and Social Action Shabbat, I'd like to call forward Richard Alicchio and Annette DeMarco to say a few words about the commitment of volunteers to our synagogue.
Okay, what is a volunteer? A volunteer is someone who does work for an organization or cause without being paid or forced to do so. They do it freely, giving time and labor for civic, charitable, or humanitarian reasons without compensation. But there is one thing I learned when I was in the service: you never really volunteer for anything, because if you say you have a driver's license, they'll give you a wheelbarrow to push. Or if you say you're an engineer, they'll give you a shovel to dig. So I learned that very quickly. Cheryl and I came to Emuno in 2008. It became our extended family, and we became involved with volunteering, and we also met Dr. Sam Shapiro and the spiritual leader Kerith Shapiro, and others such as Virginia Gitta and Beth Siv. We volunteered with fundraising, spiels, and other events held in the social hall, also working on mailings and other activities. Here at Emuno, we have a caring committee, a ritual committee, and social action. We're always looking for volunteers. Check the Emuno calendar and come join us. And remember, it's not how much you give, but that you participate in one of our programs. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I started writing this using a lot of names, but I ran out of space. And we're going to run out of time because we have so many wonderful people who volunteer. So I will mention a few names, but mostly it's going to be the the committees and the different people that do the different things, because everybody is important. I want to start with naming all of the committees that we have, because for such a tiny little community, we have a lot. We start with our board of trustees and our officers. We have adult education, buildings and grounds, bylaws, caring, cemetery, Kramer Music Fund, finance, fundraising, membership, publicity, religious school, ritual, social action, special events, temple security, and technology and websites. I'm going to start with our board members and our officers, because they don't just sit around and talk. It's one of the most difficult committees, if you want to call it a committee, to be on in the synagogue. They have to make some very difficult, sometimes uneasy decisions for us. But they're also enablers. They allow us to do things that sometimes they argue about, sometimes they're not sure about, but they let us try a lot of stuff, and we're very grateful. Before we do any kind of programs, we need to get the word out. And this is done with flyers by Michael S. and Lauren, who's not here. It's done by e-blasts by Sandy Z. And let me tell you, she's amazing. Sometimes I ask her to do one, and it's about a minute and a half later, and all of a sudden she's taken care of it. And I'm very, very grateful for that. Lance does the website, and he does more than he really should because he's got people like me who I don't know how to do anything, so he's got to do it all, and I appreciate that. And of course, there's Kadima, and again, I'm a problem child because when I send my columns in, Virginia usually gets them late, and then I make changes on them, like in 3 or 4 different emails, but she always gets it right. And there's also PR that's done by a lot of different people. There are a lot of things that go on, whether you are, as the rabbi said downstairs, whether you are a member of a committee or you do it freelance. We do a lot of things. We have our college students always in mind, and they get Purim baskets every year. There are get well cards sent out by Barbara. There are home deliveries made usually by Doris for a celebration or any kind of reason, or just to let people know that we're thinking about them if they haven't been able to get to the synagogue for a while. Members do a lot of different things. They set up, as we found out Michael did today. They clean up. They work from Oregon. They come from half an hour away and they drive in. We have members, I know, of the Nitwits who aren't even members of our temple, and Teresa's here tonight as one of them, and it's awesome. And we have a new group that Cantor Suzy started. We've got our own choir made up of people who are volunteers. Or maybe you were volunteered. I'm not sure about that.
And it's an open group, whoever wants to come at any time.
There you go.
Ever
I love
changing,
that.
ever changing.
We have adult program ideas coming up like crazy. We've got Lee, who works as our liaison to the youth group. And we've got Everything Financial Party of 2 that is Doris and Mark. And I have to tell you a story about Doris. She came to the school the other day, and I introduced her to one of the new parents. And I said, oh, and Doris has been our substitute a few times. And then I thought, that doesn't even begin to cover what Doris does. But I didn't have a week and a half to go through it all, but we all know what Doris does. School families. So, you thought when you signed your children up for a religious school, it would give you some time for yourselves on a Sunday morning. How's that going? Because it doesn't work. We've got programs that the parents buy stuff for, come, set up, clean up, serve, help, whatever. We've got our parents in charge. Every week another parent sits there and freezes because the door keeps opening and closing as people come in and out. We've got committee meetings that they go to. And Emily and Kim, I talked about this with them downstairs. They are like our Board of Education, and I take advantage of that. There are many phone calls, emails, and texts. Please don't block me, because we really need that. And our Madrichim, Nora's here tonight. I'm thrilled. They are a blessing to our school. They are amazing young people. They do anything and everything. The students adore them, and the teachers, I don't think we could do without them, and I don't want to. Everything I've talked about so far, for the most part, is sort of in-house. When it comes to social action as a committee, all right, we bring Emuno outside. But the committee, made of really fabulous people who have been there for a long time, we can't do it alone. There was no way we could have served 175 or so meals to the homeless, donating diapers, diapers are expensive, but we get diaper donations, we get food, we are now collecting soup. The mitzvah mall, we couldn't do it with just the committee, we need a lot of other people. There's so much going on, and we are all basically on the Social Action Committee. The bin on the school porch, it's almost like a magical bin, because I never know when I walk up the stairs and I kind of give it a little push if it's going to be full or it's not. Most times it's full, and I can't wait to see what's inside there. And we don't know who's giving it. We don't know who's not giving it, or who couldn't do it this month but did it last month. And it doesn't matter. You know that you did it, and it's very much appreciated. We also have the help, as I just said, Suzy, you are doing a choir, and we appreciate it. And the Rabbi, I don't think he's ever said no to anything that has to do with social action, and he's always there for the school to say something, to for the mitzvah mall, to double whatever money we take in. He's been amazing, and we can't ask for anything more than everything that goes on in this place. I just want to make sure I don't forget. Okay. There are so many things that go on. You know, like Kim is sitting there, she does our calendar every year, and again, she puts up with me because I don't know how to do everything online, so we call each other and she helps me through it. But there are two main, I guess you might call it, events that are happening right now. And I'd like to discuss them because they have to do with all of us. One is the temple security. David started doing that with us last year. He totally organized it, and he had contractors coming in to help us out, and he said, and then I'm done. He said, I'm not going to do anything more except that. Well, it's a year later, and David has a meeting with us every month, and he and a lot of other people have been working. Grants are really hard. That's what we've been doing. We've been working on a grant, and you think that it's hard just to get them to say, okay, you can have the money. But after you get the money, that's when the real work begins. And I just want to say, this is where I said that our officers don't just, do nothing. We've got Peter on this group, we've got Marshall, we have Michael F., we have Mark, we have Lauren, and everybody is just doing the best that they can. It's very frustrating because you think you've got it, and then they say, no, that's not quite it, and you have to reread everything. And I appreciate everything that everyone is doing on it because it's for all of us. It's for the sake of the school. It's for the sake of the Jewish community here. If you come only once a year, safety is still important. Okay, so I thank everybody for that, but there's also one more, and the Rabbi stole my thunder downstairs, but I'm doing it again anyway. Michael Raskin. Thank you. I do go to the school quite often during the week, always on a Sunday, and it's always been cleared. I can get my car into the little driveway there, and I appreciate it. And I just want to wish you the best of luck this week, because I think you're going to need it. Thank you for taking care of that. And to your crew, tell them thank you very much. So I just want to say one last thing. it's not as if all of our people who do all of the volunteer work have the time. What they do, though, is you all make the time. And that's important, and it's appreciated. So this evening is for you. It comes with thanks, it comes with gratitude, and it comes from the heart of everybody else in this little temple, because it's a do-it-yourself temple. And that's not for everyone, but I think it's for everybody here. So, thank you.
Thank you.
The Torah portion in 2 weeks says, from every heart, from every willing heart, accept the contribution. And that is everything that Annette talked about. We will thank the volunteers in 2 more additional ways this evening. The first, after the service, I saw there's a big cake that we'll all share in. But we have a special song in honor of all our volunteers now called In This House. It describes the many ways that we build community.
In this house, it all comes together in this house. In this house, it all comes together in this house of God. This house beats the heart of a family. In this house is the center of a community. We study and we pray, find meaning in each day. In this house, in this house, in this house. In this house is the spark of God's creation. In this house there is joy and Let's clap.
In this house, we're ready for the Aleinu prayer, the bottom of page 282. As we open the ark, please rise. On the Shabbat, we now call to mind in love and reverence the Yortzeit, the anniversary of the passing of Manny Beckerman, father of Eric Beckerman, Isidore Krumholtz, brother of Lita Weintraub, Armin Camp, cousin of Doris White, Benjamin Straight, father of Lance Straight, Stephen Roberg, nephew of Kurt Roberg, Paul Reinhold, uncle of Mark Rosenberg. For all those close to our hearts, for all those for whom there may be no one to say Kaddish, we join in the Kaddish prayer on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbi, be'alma tivrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'hayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei b'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam olamei almai. Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'richu le'ena min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shemayim v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, bimru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen. Please be seated. Our president is out of town. We invite our Vice President Peter for a few words of welcome and announcements.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thanks to all of you for coming out tonight to attend this very special service. Thank you, Rabbi, for pointing out the fourfold celebration that we have here tonight. My mother, of blessed memory, always encouraged me to count my blessings, and I consider that to be in keeping with that teaching. Yeah. And Cantor Suzy, it occurred to me that every Shabbat at Congregation Adas Emuno is a Sabbath of song, but this one was a very extra special one, thanks to you and to the other musicians, Victor and Gabrielle. Thank you very much. At Shabbat morning Torah study tomorrow at 10 a.m., we're going to be hosting our annual Seder Tu B'Shvat in honor of the upcoming New Year of Trees. The rabbi has a new Trees of the Bible quiz ready for the occasion, and there will also be fruits and juices and songs honoring the natural environment. Tu B'Shvat will be celebrated at the religious school, if it comes about, on Sunday. When the students will also tally our Super Bowl collection for donation to the Center for Food Action. The TOT program that morning will also be celebrating Tu B'Shvat. And parents of religious school children should check their emails tomorrow night to see if, in fact, school will be convening on Sunday morning. The debut of the bi-monthly Adas Emuno Film Club will take place on Zoom on Monday at 7:30 p.m., at which Rabbi Schwartz will lead a discussion about the Netflix hit Nobody Wants This, a series about a young rabbi. The Zoom link can be found in the rabbi's email that went out on Thursday. Next weekend being President's Day weekend, Torah study and religious school will not meet, but next Friday night at 7:30, right here, we will have another beautiful Shabbat service, and we hope you all come. The Oneg this evening is sponsored by the Social Action Committee. Thank you for that. And thank you for Dylan for the live streaming of this evening's service. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We will conclude our service with a nod to the New Year of Trees, Tu B'Shvat, coming up this week with two songs. One, a popular Israeli song. The first sign of spring is right about now in Israel, not here, in Israel. And the almond tree is the first to blossom, Hashkedia Porachat. And another tree is the date tree. Compared, a righteous person stands upright, just like a date tree, Tzaddik Katamar.
השקדיה פורחת ושמש בה זורחת, ציפורים מראש כל גג מבשרות את בוא החג. ט"ו בשבט הגיע, חג לאילנות. ט"ו בשבט הגיע, חג לאילנות. השקדיה פורחת ושמש בה זורחת, ציפורים מראש כל גג מבשרות את בוא החג. ט"ו בשבט הגיע, חג לאילנות. ט"ו בשבט הגיע, חג לאילנות.
That's a nice one.
And I think, where are the words to Tzaddik Katamar, just in case? Okay, 3:55. So if anyone wants to sing along to Tzadik Katamar. Tzadik Katamar yifrach, yifrach, Tzadik Katamar yifrach, Tzadik Katamar yifrach, yifrach, Tzadik Katamar yifrach. Keres balvanon yizke, keres balvanon yizke, keres balvanon yizke, yizke. Keres balvanon yizke, keres balvanon yizke, keres balvanon yizke, yizke. Tzadik Katamar yifrach, yifrach, Tzadik Katamar yifrach, Tzadik Katamar yifrach, yifrach, Tzadik Katamar yifrach. Keres balvanon yizke, keres balvanon yizke, keres balvanon yizke, yizke. Keres balvanon yizke, keres balvanon yizke, keres balvanon yizke, yizke.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. And thank you, Victor, and thank you, Gabriel.